Hello, in this video we're going to be creating isometric shape number 11. This one could be a little tricky. There's a variety of different ways we can go about doing it. I'm going to start off again by making my overall box or my overall rectangular prism. Do some subtractive techniques to make isometric shape 11. So we will have to do a few different steps to create this object. Hopefully by starting from the beginning we can work through this one relatively quickly though. If we count, it's got an overall length of 11 boxes long, so it's a rather lengthy object. If we count, it goes up 6 high and back a depth of 4. So we'll start with that overall rectangular prism. So we're going to go to Autodesk Inventor. I'm going to start a new project, a new part, and I'm going to start by doing a 2D sketch on my XY plane. I'm going to start with a rectangle, and we said starting at the origin, it's going to be 11 long. Then hit tab by 6 high. Then I finish sketch and I can extrude it out a distance of 4 and hit OK. Next, if we look back at our object, I'm going to do this cutout section here. You can see that what we're going to have remaining is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if I do 11 minus 4, we can get our overall length. 11 minus 4 gives us a length of 7 here, and you can see we have 1, 2 left on the height. So it's going to be 4 on the height. So to do that, I'm just going to start 2D sketch. I'm going to click on the front of my object. I'm going to start a rectangle, and I'm going to start it in this top far corner. Again, we want to make sure we have a green dot when we begin. So you should wait until you get the green dot, and then you can type in a 7, tab, and then a 4, and then enter. Then I can finish my sketch, and I can do an extrude, and this time we want a cut. You can do 4, or you can change distance to all. Either way is going to cut out all of what we see there. I'm going to hit OK. Now I kind of have this L-shaped object. I still have a variety of things left to do. So there's a variety of ways to go about doing that. So to start, I'm going to fillet these edges. So if we look at these edges on both sides of the shape, you can see it fillets. And if we count 1, 2 is our radius, same thing down here. We have a radius of 1 and 2. So we can do both of those at the same time if we want. So to do that, I'm just going to click on this edge and change my value to a 2. Then I'm going to click on this back edge and do the same thing. I'll move this label out of the way, and I'll do the same thing on the top edges. Now I have my overall basic structure, and I can hit OK to that, and you can see I have my overall basic shape. Next, I am going to need a hole that goes through the middle of this object. So there's a few different ways. You can draw your circle and extrude cut it, or in this case, we could use a hole tool. So I'm just going to use a hole tool. I'm going to move it out of the way, and I'm going to have it reference this time from an object. So I want to reference from this object. So I want to use this as my reference and do it concentric. So I'm going to do concentric so it goes in the center of this plane. So I click on the plane. I want my reference to be the side here. That way it centers it. And I want my radius. If I look in this, it's going to give me the overall size of my hole. If I go back to here, you can see it goes 1 and 2 as a diameter. So if we look at the hole tool, it's showing us its measurement as a diameter. So I want a diameter of 2. And that gives us the hole we're looking for in the right location. And I can hit OK. So that gives me my top hole. I can do the same thing down here on the bottom if I want. Again, there's a variety of ways to add those holes. So I could start by doing my hole tool and my other hole and connecting them that way. I'm going to do this one a little differently just so we can see some different techniques. So I'm going to start a 2D sketch. To kind of rotate it to the orientation we have on our picture, I'm going to rotate it around. And I'm going to create first just 2 circles. So I'm going to create each circle inside here, and each one again is going to have a diameter of 2. So I type in my 2. I believe it's 2. Let's double check and make sure. If we look, it's got a diameter of 1 and 2. So I need 2 circles with a diameter of 2 each. So 2 and enter. Then I do the same thing on the side with a radius or a diameter of 2, and then enter. Now they're not properly located, so next I want to locate them by dimensioning them. So I'm going to click the center of my circle, and then the outside edge of my circle, and it should be a distance of 2 apart. going to hit escape since I didn't get the right location. And now hopefully I can concentric these things apart from one another. In this case, it looks like it's trying to do it from the center of the circle. So I want that to be a distance of 0. So I'm just typing a 0 there. And that's going to make it a concentric circle. I could also use the concentric tool up here and locate it that way as well. So I can concentric circle to the circle. And since I've already done the first one, I don't need both of them. So I could go back, and if I wanted to, delete this dimension, and that would also help me with that. So I can do concentric, circle to circle. Then I want to line up my two circles with one another, so I want them on the same line. So again, there's a variety of ways I could go about doing that, but this time I want them on the same horizontal axis. So there's again a variety of ways I could do it. I could dimension this one, the center of the circle, to the side, and I know that would be a distance of half of 4, which is 2. And that's a perfectly fine way of doing it. Or, and then to dimension it from my other circle, I'd have to go center of circle, center of circle. If we look back, it should be a distance of 3, I believe. We can go back and count. 1, 2, 3. So then we come back over here and type in 3 and enter. And that gives us concentric circles. From there, I still need to connect them with a line. So I need a tangent line connecting these two objects. So if I go from my right-hand circle to my left-hand circle, same thing on the top. Connect them with a line. This time I didn't get all the way to the point, so I got to repeat that one. So I'm going to go point, and I want to make sure it pops up my second point. And once I have those located, then I can trim off these extra portions to make that slot. So if I use this trim tool, I can trim this inside portion. Same thing on this one, I can trim that inside portion. And that gives me that slot location within this shape. So we can see a distance of 3 between them if we zoom out, 2 from the side, and then we got these tangent pieces on each side. If you want to make sure the tangent, you could use this tangent tool and click your circle, click your line in your circle, and that would fully constrain our object if it already is tangent on the other side. Then we finish our sketch, and we want to again extrude and cut it this time. So extrude cut, it's at 4, that's fine. I can change it if I want to all. It's only going down 2, I can type in a 2 as well and give it that shape. Then I hit OK, and that should give me my isometric shape number 11. If you look and see the cut goes all the way through, the circle goes all the way through. To get it back in our home view, we just click home. So hopefully that helps in your creation of isometric shape number 11.